So you might have noticed recently that a lot of billionaires are starting channels, right? So you might have seen the All In podcast, for instance. This is four billionaires, or at least three of them are billionaires. One of them is almost a billionaire. Now, I'm no billionaire, but I do know a little something about YouTube as someone who's gotten to 1 million subscribers on my main channel and as someone who has started multiple different seven-figure businesses. Then you've got, Reid Hoffman. He's the creator of LinkedIn. He's worth a couple $1 billion. He started a podcast. Oprah Winfrey is really big into podcasting, and of course, they're spreading their podcast via YouTube. Um, and you might have wondered, like, what's going on? Because it's not just them. Mark Cuban's making the rounds right now. Like, it seems like all these billionaires are trying to get really big on YouTube, right? And you're probably wondering, why exactly is that? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. And the main reason is because they recognize the power of personal brand. So, what is the power of personal brand? First of all, what is a personal brand? A personal brand is when you are known for being someone who believes in something and you become associated with a movement or multiple movements. Okay. So there's some huge personal brands in the world recently that have been able to achieve insane feats because of the power of their personal brand. One of these was able to become the richest man in the world because of his personal brand, Elon Musk. Another one was able to be elected president because of his personal brand, Donald Trump. And even before that, you could argue back in 2008, 2012, Obama, because of his social media presence and his personal brand on social media, was also able to be elected, right? You could even argue he was the first one to do it in the political space. And it's not just them. There's a ton of other examples, right? Michelle Obama, Obama's wife, she's another one who's actually starting a podcast and starting to post on YouTube. Um, all of these people have been able to achieve just insane feats, whether it's money or power. Like Trump's probably the most powerful man in the world. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Obama, when he was president, he was the most powerful man in the world. All of them were able to do this because of their personal brand. Okay. So that is the main reason why all these people are starting YouTube channels. But you might be asking, Shane, why YouTube specifically? Well, why post on social media? Why not go on TV? Well, that's what those people were doing for a long time because that's what was working. In the 80s and 90s, Trump was trying to get in lots of different magazines, lots of different newspapers. He had his own TV show, I believe, in the 90s and the 2000s, The Apprentice. He was always on the news constantly, right? So that was where you built your personal brand back then. But in the modern times, the place to build a personal brand is, of course, social media. Now, I think that it's pretty obvious why this is. There's been people that have been able to go from basically like absolute nobodies to literally the most Googled people in the world, like the most searched people in the world. An example of that would be Andrew Tate. He went from a little known kickboxer in some weird European kickboxing leagues. And like I guess he was pretty good at it. I mean, he could definitely kick my ass for sure, but wasn't really well known to being literally the most searched person in the world. And the only way that was possible is because of social media, right? That's it. Is because of social media. And so when you see things like this, when you see people going from basically unknown to being the most searched man in the world, and he was making a ton of money, over 100 million a year, or you see people going from, making pretty good money, Elon Musk, like he was making decent money, but then when he started personal branding, he went from making decent money to be the richest man in the world. And Trump going from being, a pretty good celebrity, it's like, I'd say like maybe even a B-list or A-list celebrity to being the most powerful man in the world using his personal brand, it starts to get your attention. And billionaires, as people who are insanely, ruthlessly efficient with their time, they're not going to waste their time doing stuff that they don't think is going to work, right? There needs to be a massive amount of evidence that whatever they're spending their time doing is worth their time because they're just simply not going to waste their time doing stuff that they don't think is worth their time. And so when you see some of the billionaires, which generally speaking, they're pretty intelligent, right? They're some of the smartest people in the world. When you see billionaires who are ruthlessly efficient with their time, spending their time building their social media presence, this is this is really should get your attention. And this should be a signal to you that this is when the smart people are entering the market, right? This is when the smart money is coming in, right? It's not too early, it's not too late. This is the perfect time to start building your personal brand. Okay? And so the next question is, you know now that personal branding is the way to go. You know that social media is the best way to build your personal brand right now. It's no longer TV or newspapers or ads or anything like that. It's social media. The next question is, why YouTube? Why are all of them so focused on growing on YouTube? Well, YouTube, along with being the one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, is also the second biggest search platform in the entire world. Okay. So, the first is Google, which owns YouTube. So basically, they have a massive unfair advantage when it comes to data. Because when people search something, let's just say that someone, just as a very simple example, let's just say that someone's toilet is broken, right? And they start searching like how to fix my toilet on Google. Well, guess what? Google and YouTube share data with each other, and chances are how to fix my toilet videos are going to pop up on their homepage on YouTube when they go to YouTube, right? And that is the unfair advantage that they have because it's not just a social media platform, it's also a search engine. And it's really the top two search engines in the world working together. So that is just a massive unfair advantage. And then the second thing that makes it so good is the fact that when people go to YouTube, their intention is not to be slightly entertained by, some little 10-second video like when people go to TikTok. When people go to YouTube, they have an expectation of watching content for a long period of time, right? They're not going to spend 5 seconds watching your little TikTok video or 10 seconds reading your tweet. They might spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, hours on YouTube watching long form content. And a lot of the time, this long form content is either something that they're very emotional, very excited about, or it's something where they're learning, right? They have the intention of learning. They're trying to actively solve problems that they have, right? So this is in terms of the amount of value per second that is delivered from YouTube and like how engaged people are with YouTube, it's just significantly higher than any other platform. And additionally, people spend more time on YouTube. So as a billionaire, your goal with YouTube probably isn't to directly make money, right? You're not necessarily trying to directly monetize on YouTube. What your goal is to indirectly make money or indirectly gain some type of thing. And what you're really going for is impact. Now, of course, most people watching this video, if you're trying to start a personal brand or something like that, you probably do want to make money, and that's totally fine. There's very easy to make money on YouTube as well. But what the billionaires are going for is impact. And the way I like to describe this is they want as much emotional real estate in people's brains as possible. That's what they're trying to gain with YouTube. And you can't really get that much emotional real estate if you're watching like a 5-second TikTok or you're reading like, a tweet that probably takes you like 5 seconds to read and then another 5 seconds to read the comments, right? You're not getting that much emotional real estate from that. On YouTube, the other hand, someone might discover your channel and then literally watch 10, 20, 30 hours of your content over the next few months. That's like a lot of emotional real estate. Okay. So that is the difference between YouTube and other platforms. Okay. And it's a huge, huge difference. All right. And this is the reason why billionaires are starting personal brands for one, focusing on social media for two, and then three, specifically, they're focusing on YouTube. Now, are they posting on the other platforms? Yes. But clearly, that is not their main focus. It's YouTube. And there's a reason for that. Now, by the way, if you want a completely free guide on exactly how you can grow and make money with your YouTube channel and build your personal brand, go ahead, click the link down in the description and the pinned comment below. And this is coming from somebody who has built a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel, so I know what the heck I'm talking about. And I've taught a lot of other people how to grow and make money on their YouTube channels as well. So click that link in the description and the pinned comment below. Also, check out this video right here where I talk about how I was able to get to 6 figures a month on YouTube.